Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Caveman to Cosmos with me, Alpha Pi Omega and Byzantium. So you can see that this episode is starting in a bit of a weird spot. We have just researched community and it happened, all of a sudden. I'm gonna try to explain how this has occurred, so bear with me here. I have sent one of our units to scout on our neighboring barbarian town. It was the Adrianople canoes. You can see them selected here. And while they were sailing, they have ran into an undiscovered island, which is the sea variant of a native village, I think it's called. And this can, based on the RNG rolling, give you either a couple of barbarian units when they are hostile or various bonuses. In our case, it gave us 2,116 research points towards community. And while this isn't all that much, we were nearly there and it triggered the technology for us. So I apologize that you missed the quote. I was really caught off guard and there isn't really much I can do with that because this has, had no reverse policy. So it just happened. Anyway, community. Community gives our childcare hut extra 2 culture. It enables charity, which is a new civic, and enables a couple of new traits. Sophistication 4. Okay, on the sophistication promotion one. Educate 2, which is not bad. Extra education for a city. Build up crime fighting, which is also pretty good. Here's the charity, and it leads to a number of new technologies like taxonomy, consciousness. Am I? Yeah, I think it's consciousness. Okay. Folk music, folk dance, and caste system. So, yeah, this one is important by giving us the new civic, mostly. That's like the only big thing that it will give us. So let's check out what it does before we do an overview of our progress. So charity is here under welfare. So we had survival. Welfare is non-existent and downtrodden people must resort to stealing or even killing in order to supply themselves and their families with essential goods. Units receive extra experience points, 10% military unit production and free military upkeep 1. +1 happiness from the Oracle Stonehenge Sacrificial Altar and a +1 from Doctor's Office, Healer's Hut, Healthcare Mega Complex, Medical Clinic and Surgeon's Office. Survival skills are techniques that a person may use in order to sustain life in any type of natural environment or built environment. These techniques are meant to provide basic necessities for human life, which includes water, food, and shelter. Survival skills are often basic ideas and abilities that ancients invented and used themselves for thousands of years, often associated with the need to survive in a disaster situation. An interesting phenomenon sometimes occurs in social animals. Animals in a social group of kin often work cooperatively in order to survive, but when one member perceives itself as a burden for an extended period of time, it may commit self-destructive behavior. This allows its relatives to have a better chance at survival, and if enough close relatives survives, then its genes get indirectly passed on anyways. This behavior works in the exact opposite direction of the survival instinct. It could be considered a highly altruistic behavior evolved from a cooperative group. Self-destructive behavior is not the same as risk-taking behavior, although risk-taking behavior could turn into destructive behavior. Charity, on the other hand, gives us extra gold and culture in all cities. It gives us extra happiness from almshouse, granary, high-tech cultural enrichment, hostel and meal center, from modern granary, orphanage, retirement home, youth center, extra help from almshouse, doctor's office, healer's hut, healthcare mega complex, high-tech culture and enrichment, hostel, meal center, medical clinic, orphanage, retirement home, surgeon's office, and youth center, and allows construction of plague hospital. Survival. Okay, that's the one that we had. So we don't have an upkeep and we lose a bit of military unit production and extra experience points, but we get a bit of extra money and a bit of extra culture. Charity. Unfortunately, individuals rely on the charitable nature of people to receive help. Okay, no revolution and an upkeep. Cool. So this is why I was scouting here. You guys actually voted for Trebizond to be founded near the salt, so I've put our city there in a tile that I found was the best one. But unfortunately, once I did that, I noticed a number of barbarians in the north, and we found out that they have a city here. So I sent my war canoe to investigate, and as you can see, there is a city of Sitio here, and a couple of units, but not that strong. I've already mustered a number of units that are going to attack and raise the city because we do not want the barbarians there. Unfortunately, we cannot take another city, and I'll explain why in a second. So the Bone Eaters are on their way. We have the Stone Axeman 20 here, and one of the newly trained archer units. We also have a newly trained archer unit here that is defending Ankira. So let's rename it. I'm gonna call the Ankira Archers, and you guys are going to be called Trebizond Archers. Archers trained in Constantinople get 3 extra levels, and as archers get a native bonus of 50% extra city defense, I gave them City Garrison 2, which gives them additional 45% city defense. So get almost 100 bonus just from the city itself. They all got extra might, so they are nearly 10 strength. They got bamboo armor, which gives them a bonus against archers, and they got poison tips, which give them additional 25% against almost everyone. So if we build up Ankira and Trebizond defenses, these cities are going to be awesome. I'd also like to train the same archer unit for Nicomedia down the line. Right now we're working on the Bone Marrow, and we're going to have archers defending our border. We'll have the same in Antioch. I actually wanted to upgrade some of our existing units like you guys, but it costs 432 gold, and I'm not kidding, for one upgrade, so we just cannot afford it. And I think we're just gonna disband these units no matter how much experience they have. I mean, these guys would be great to keep, but I just can't imagine that we would have that much. And as we're getting free promotion, I think, for example, these slingers can be very easily disbanded. I think I'm just gonna do that now. Well, we're gonna build a couple more buildings and then we're gonna do it. Anyway, Bone Eaters are coming. We have the Stone Axeman 20. Let's call them Dark Hammers, Dark Axes. So Dark Axes, Bone Eaters, and I think I sent another unit, but I don't see. Is it you? Yeah, Stone Axeman here from Vodena is also joining them. So we're gonna call this Vodena Killers. And let's call them Vodena Axes. That sounds better. Vodena Axes. So Vodena Axes, Dark Axes, and Bone Eaters are going to launch an attack on the city, and I think they ought to have quite a lot of luck with that, because only Atlatovists are here. But our units should be able to handle that. The slingers and additional Atlatis in the end, and it's not going to be a problem. It's going to take us a couple of turns to break them, but we should be able to do so and then raise the city and get rid of it. Now Trebizond is suffering heavily because it's outside of our culture range, so it cannot use any tile yet, so its production is extremely small and its growth is non-existent, but the culture is already 5 turns away from growth, so we will be fine, after which it can start using some of these tiles. We also have our workers hard at work here on building a road to Ankira, and I'm also going to create a trail from Trebizond to Nicomedia so that we have it connected to our cities. It's going to take quite a lot of work because we are stretching here 3 new cities in such a small amount of time, and all at the same area is going to be a bit of a burden on us, but we'll make it, because this area you can see is prospering. Patra has 6, Vodena has 6, Adrianople and Thessaloniki now on 4, Nicaea at 3, and Antioch at 2. So all of these cities are prospering, Constantinople is, you know, a megalopolis, considering the year is 8545 BC, and Constantinople already has 3,000 people. That's just amazing. But these new small villages of 50 people are gonna need some time to grow. We have also been hit by an unfortunate thing that I completely was blindsided by, and that is the fact that the difficulty has further increased. Now, we were at something like plus 25 gold. Then I found the city, we dropped to minus 17, and like a turn after that, we jumped to turn 2510, and we dropped to like minus 70. Yeah, you can see that if we max out our research, we are at minus 67 now. So, you know, we're doing slightly better than what we were before. Okay, and we can even keep it at 45 now. But the hit in difficulty is really dramatic for us. Now, we are not in a bad spot. You guys are building archers. I don't think you should build archers. Our cities are working hard on... Okay, you are not working hard on anything. Let's build a straw gatherer here. And then I think you're going to be done. We can build a druidic missionary here to spread our faith to Trebizond. But you can see that we are building some workboats here that are going to... we have one here already, which are going to enhance the area around Ankira. We have the mask carver here, we have the trails, we're working on tannery, we're working on bone marrow and tanning maker. So all of these are going to boost our income. But boy, minus 67 is actually a pretty big deficit, so we'll have to be really careful. And I really don't think, considering that it's going to take us at least a couple dozen turns to get out of this, I don't think that any expansion or any further expansion is near our near future. That's what I was trying to say. What's worth mentioning, though, is that while we are at a maximum amount of cities as allowed per our civic, our happiness should still be pretty high. Yeah, a lot of things. Okay, the smallest one is actually in Trebizond, because it's a small city quite far away from where we have most of our civilization. It's not even connected. But once you get connected, you will see that there is a ton of things. Yeah, we get +6 just from luxurious resources. So the moment the trails are going to connect to Trebizond, we are going to double the happiness there. But that doesn't change anything for us, because the next city would start generating 4 extra unhappiness, and it would further take us into deficit. So we just cannot take it. And you know, if you look at that, plus 25% maintenance just from the number of cities, so we are almost at 45 gold just from the maintenance. Now, a couple of you have asked me when despotism is coming, and I checked that it comes with bronze working. So this is not that far in the future, but it is far in the future, because we are here just finishing the first tier of technologies, and bronze working is... Here's metal casting. Wait, it's here somewhere. There's copper. Wait, copper is before bronze. Yeah, so bronze is all the way here. So if we wanted to do that, 25 technologies. So yeah, no growth in the near future. No growth in the near future. Now, considering that just ideograms takes 46 turns, we are looking at something like, oh Jesus, 25 times 46. Let's go with 25. Yeah, that's roughly 1250 turns. So we will have quite a lot of things to do before we can grow. But on the other hand, if it's so far ahead, I can envision that we might found the port city, or more like the defensive city down here in the south, before we get to despotism. If only for the fact that, you know, we can afford it and we're gonna be swimming in cash again. But that will solely lie on Ankira, Trebizond and Nicomedia to increase their income. Considering when you look at Thessaloniki, for example, they got 41 gold income. Actually, they get like 55.8, of which 41 is dedicated to maintenance. So wait, I think I'm reading that wrong. 57, yeah, okay, so this is the amount of money that we're getting, and this is the maintenance. So just Thessaloniki are producing nearly 100 gold, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that is pretty darn decent, total 22. So with the maintenance counted in, each of these cities can give us roughly, say, 30 to 40 gold in the near future. So I think that they will be able to put us back to 100. Plus, you know, as we are going to keep getting new things, all of the other cities will benefit us as well. But it's going to take time, and we have to take our time because these are not fun. I also need to make a point because we have been again struck by a number of barbarian attacks to start building the earthen walls and some defenses. I don't want to do it because it is extra maintenance, it takes some time, but really, if we get blindsided and attacked and cannot defend, I'd rather they pillage the tiles around it but fail to take the city, which obviously with a +3 they are not gonna have a problem with, so we really need to up our game. Yeah, look at that, like Vodena has 65, that is a very defensive city. And I think we can even upgrade it. If we went with about this, we would get extra 10%, which we are not going with, but 65% is a big difference compared to 3. And you know, count in the archers. That's another thing that you need to understand. So if archers have a 5 basic attack, they got 50% bonus from being in a city, 45 bonus just straight from being trained, and then they got additional 60%. You know, there's no reasonable unit that can currently hurt us. Anyway, long talk, you know, but that's a given considering how much have changed. Long talk, and I'll see you in 46 turns when we get ideograms. Maybe it's gonna be slightly less. I'm gonna keep upping the research as we go, and considering we can get really quite high, yeah, 34. So let's see how many turns it's gonna take. Turn 2553, year 8277 BC, and we are 1 turn away from ideograms. Boy, are things happening! Well, let's look at the north first. Trebizond has grown its border quite significantly, and I'm happy about that. We can see that the production here is also getting better. I actually selected this tile. I was just checking if it still thinks this one is better. But yeah, this tile is giving us free food, 7 production, and 1 gold, which is boosting the industrial production of the city quite handsomely. It has also been connected via trails to our other cities, so you can see that its happiness is now 19, which is great. And I plan to actually develop this new tile that has fallen into our border and have a pasture there. If we can actually get it, I think we should, but for example, we cannot get this one because that one requires bronze working. For some reason, herding cows is, I guess, harder. So we have just built the, what is it there? Does it tell us? Scavenging camp. Okay. So we have built a scavenging camp, and I guess we're scavenging the cows somehow. We have also launched a number of unsuccessful attacks against CTO. All of them has been repelled. Our units are now healing back in our city here, but I think we might want to... No, we're gonna wait. I sent another unit this time. Which one was it? I think it was the Skull Hunters. They were located down here, I think. And I've sent them to help us because we murdered a bunch of units, but we just didn't have enough to do the final push against CTO without taking unnecessary risk. What's really good though is that our population is growing significantly. Both Patra and Vodena are now at size 7, giving it 1,500 people. I remember when Constantinople had 1,500 people, and Adrianople, Thessaloniki, Nicaea are at population 4, while Antioch is now population 3. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. Constantinople is going to actually grow in 24 turns to level 11, and I wonder how much population that is going to be then. Now we are currently at almost 8,000 people in our empire. That is really, really nice. Rival best is still less than 3,000. But I have to mention that Israel is catching up with us. It has been growing significantly in the past couple of turns, and so was Babylon, though they just can't recapture these two cities that are actually growing steadily. Skladina is now at level 5 and Babylon at level 4, which is a bit iffy, but also something happened to our income. We were already at 55 with a surplus, and then it dropped all the way to like minus 12, so we had to drop it to plus 245 again, and now it jumped back up. I think some of the buildings are sort of restructuring what is happening. But important things, Vodena is now building the Hill of Tara because there's not that many things that I would like to build here, and considering I don't see this as a town made for construction of military units, I'm not really interested in building any of those military units, so I might just switch it to meager wealth after that one. Patra is finishing some final touches, then we're gonna build the fighting pit, the animal trainer for horse and donkey, and then I guess the earth wall. Though I think you guys, Nicomedia has finished the earth wall, which is kind of cool because it's such a small city. It looks a bit like a little castle. I actually plan to build it in here as well. How long would it take? 10 turns. Okay, let's shadow it first. You got a couple of nice buildings there, and Trebizond should be also on it, but it takes 23 turns, so let's put it at the very end because we really there's like no good time for it, but we really need it in case an attack comes at us. You can see that Nicomedia already has 35% bonus. Does Antioch have... No, Antioch has no defenses. Dang. Divine Monument, anything you are giving us anything there, so let's get additional unit of archers for the protection of Antioch. That is a bit bad. Okay, now let's end the turn and hear it for ideograms. I think it gives us some research buildings. That's gonna be good, but we'll see.
We can see nothing whatever of the soul unless it is visible in the expression of the countenance. One might call the faces at a large assembly of people a history of the human soul, written in a kind of Chinese ideograms.
Okay, so ideograms reveal tablets, which is fine, leads to certain technology like taxonomy, potter, and caste system, and it gives us Cleopatra's Needle. Okay, it gives us the Library of Nineveh. Yeah, I wanted that one. That would be good for our capital. And Fresco Mural. Okay, that one gives a bit of education. And Tablet Maker. Okay, that one doesn't give us research per se, but it gives education and extra money and provides tablets. Okay, building given for free by Library of Nineveh. Could we actually do that? Well, we're gonna check, but let's decide what we're gonna do next, because that is kind of important. Pottery would be pretty cool. It gives us... Okay, it obsoletes some of... Okay, bone huts and housing tree houses. I don't think we have the tree houses anymore, but bone huts I think we do. It obsoletes Cactus Hill, which we do not have, and give us an additional couple of wonders. But it gives us Granary, which is a really good building. It gives us a Potter Hut, which gives additional income. It gives us housing Hogans and housing Mud Huts. Okay, so that would be a good upgrade. Bakery would be great for growth. So bread making is a good choice here. Consciousness... No, it's consciousness. Okay, consciousness. I found that I was reading that wrong. For some reason I couldn't just focus on that. Folk music gives additional money-producing buildings, string and brass instrument makers, and a couple of cultures. Folk dance we are not gonna go for because that gives us nothing. And a caste system. Caste system. Okay, let's just say pottery for now, but let me check the caste system because I'm interested in seeing what that one would do. I think that is a good upgrade for our society. So we're getting tribal, and the caste system would lower the maintenance cost for distance from palace, and it increases the maintenance for all cities on home continent. So actually that wouldn't help us all that much, but it would give us extra protection and happiness. And okay, new units gets extra experience points, and it's actually pretty good. It removes the aura, and the healthiness gives us extra happiness. So I think that might be a good thing to go for. Even though I don't really think it helps with... Yeah, it wouldn't really help with money, but the bonus to production, food, and gold in all cities would be great, and it removes the science penalty for capital. Okay, so let's go for caste system next. I'm gonna just go for pottery, and then we're gonna go for caste system, because that one just gives something, but this gives immediate help, especially where the granary is good, and the boosts to production and gold by the buildings are going to be amazing. So are you guys already... No, you're still not healed. Cool, so we need more healing, but no... I cannot see what they're doing, but they're still down to 2 units. I think we can overpower them in the next assault and raise that city, which would be good. Okay, so what's going to come next? I'm going to end the episode here, but for the next one, we're going to come back with pottery. We are definitely going to try to develop this territory a bit more. We should actually focus... Okay, so the culture in Nicomedia is going to grow, hopefully completely connecting us with Trebizond, but it's going to take a while to fill all of these gaps. Ankira needs to grow a bit more as well. I might focus on some more culture buildings. I don't usually do that, but for example, Ankira could benefit from that to fill in these gaps together with Trebizond and Nicomedia, because barbarians can still spawn here, and that is a bit of a problem. They can also sneak around us in this way, and I think they get the hiding bonus in the forest, so that wouldn't be good. But other than that, we're going to finish the earth walls. We are going to raise the city. Hopefully we'll have enough money to do the tile upgrades here, though we don't really need them. Ankira is still quite far away from growth, but you know, it could be a good thing to do that in advance, and hopefully we're going to get to at least something like 60 science investment, because right now we are still down at 50 and that is hurting us. Okay, so thank you very much for joining me. Now see you in the next episode with Byzantium and pottery. We are going to use that clay.